In this episode, Golden and I discuss the Netflix animated movie, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Full speed ahead.
The Omega Beam. Full power. The Omega Beam.
Welcome to the Omega Beam number 126. I'm your host, Oren Merton. If it wasn't for the pandemic, there's no doubt that the animated movie The Mitchells vs. the Machines would have been a huge Sony global release. But due to the global lockdown, Netflix bought it and it's streaming exclusively there. So we don't reveal much more than you'd get out of the ads or the trailers or stuff like that. So if you haven't seen it yet, don't worry, we're not going to spoil it for you. And let's get to it. I am here with Golden to talk about the Netflix animated movie, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. So I did not realize going in, because I hadn't seen any of the posters or anything, that this was actually a Lord and Miller jam, a Sony animation film done by the same people who did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was amazing. Of course, just if I would have looked at any of the ad photos, it says it's by the same people, so I would have known that. But it was immediately clear the moment we saw the Columbia Pictures card at the beginning of the movie, and the woman with the torch was, messed with the way that Into the Spider-Verse did. I immediately got excited. Like, oh, this is them! And I immediately knew that if nothing else, the level of animation was going to be absolutely incredible. And I feel it did not disappoint. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was very entertaining. It was a fun watch.
It was a great watch. I found this one of the more moving animated films around. First of all, if you just want sci-fi adventure, yes, there is a very fun sci-fi adventure. Going to keep it just to what's in the trailer so as to keep, the spoilers at a minimum. But basically, as the trailer shows you, this one kind of misfit family, the Mitchells, finds themselves in a post-apocalyptic world.
They're not just misfits. It literally says in the synopsis, dysfunctional.
Yeah, they are. They're fully dysfunctional, and yet they have to rely on each other to survive this apocalypse. Now, obviously, that's a subject matter that can be done very heavy in like a rated R serious melodrama. But of course, this is a action comedy animated film, so you can be sure that we're not going for Mad Max brutality here. We're going for fun family animation and heart and meaning and soul instead. And I think they nailed it on every level. I think this movie just nailed it on every level. You know the stakes. The characters are well drawn. You understand the goals. You understand each character's goals and what they want. And like I said when we started, the animation is just amazing. For those who haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, first of all, shame on you and go see it right now. But second of all, one of the things that made it so special is how it really leaned into the idea that it was an animated movie. So it played with textures. It played with different styles of animation.
Yeah, like the Into the Spider-Verse, it played with those different styles of animation. Even brought in non-animation.
Yeah. It brought in some live action, which was hilarious in how you'd see, sometimes you'd get in the real world, you'd get a ad on television that would be animated. Well, here sometimes you'd get an ad on television that was live action. And it was great. It made the world unique and deep, and it would use sort of 2D animation on top of 3D animation to give you different effects and to really amplify what people are feeling and the emotion of the moment. And it really, really landed in a charming way, but also sometimes a very moving way, and just an incredibly artistic way. as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have this father who wants to be close to his family, doesn't quite know how to do that, not sure where that fell apart, and a daughter that has just disconnected from him. The father and daughter relationship is just very disconnected.
Right. And at
Yeah.
one point, the mother says, you're more alike than you think. And you can see that. We can see that. We, the audience, can see ways in which they are similar. But they, of course, have completely lost that. They don't see that at all. They just see each other as completely different individuals with nothing in common. And watching them come together, as over the top and crazy as this story is, the emotional beats are very organic and they make sense and they aren't as outlandish as the story or as the environment and the plot and all the rest. So I really loved that aspect of the story. And of course, they do send up modern tech. They send up, I guess, PAL, which is the main tech company that we talk about, and their AI that you see in the ads and stuff. I guess that is sort of a amalgamation of, say, Google Assistant and, Alexa and Siri and all of these. There's some send-ups of that and of what they're doing to our world.
I mean, like the quote in the movie that kind of made you laugh.
Yes, exactly. I mean,
It's almost like stealing people's data and giving it to a hyper-intelligent AI as part of an unregulated tech monopoly was a bad thing.
yeah. So, this is a family movie, but at the same time, there's a lot of lines and ideas in here that adults are going to get and are going to, enjoy. And of course, with all these movies, the voice acting has a lot to do with how good the movie is. And with one single exception, the voice cast here is excellent, in my opinion. Just really carries the emotional weight and creates characters. And I thought that they all did a good job. Abby Jacobson as Katie Mitchell, Danny McBride as Daddy Rick Mitchell, Maya Rudolph as Linda Mitchell, all absolutely fantastic. And the voice actors who do the robots, and they're all excellent. In my opinion, the one exception is the director gave himself a role as one of the supporting characters. And I don't even think that he's bad.
Yeah, it wasn't his voice acting. It's just that you didn't feel like his voice was the best fit for the part.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, Mike Rionda, who's the director of the movie, and did a great job. And he's also, I think he was in charge completely of the animated series Gravity Falls, which is, very well respected. So absolutely no cut on this human and his talent. And he may just enjoy giving himself roles, but he gave himself the role of the little brother, who is supposed to be like a tween, I think. His voice is not a tween's voice. He has a deep adult male voice. And he manipulates it a bit, but still, it didn't quite sound like a young boy.
So it's interesting. Of course, you like to look at Wikipedia. I like
Yeah.
to look at IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
And on the trivia, someone had put in that at around 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 38 seconds of the movie during the credits, there's the actual recipe for Linda's face cupcakes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's one of the things is Linda likes to cook, and not everything she cooks is amazing. But yeah, that's funny. I didn't catch that. Interesting.
Oh, I didn't catch it either.
Yeah. I also like to look after I watch these films just to see what the critics have been saying. And so the aggregate Rotten Tomatoes score for The Mitchells versus the Machines is currently at 97%. So that is more than 19 out of 20 critics. This is clearly a movie that everybody seems to love. And I do think, this was just going to be Sony's next Lord and Miller animated movie. released to theaters globally, but of course the pandemic hit and theaters were closed. And then Netflix swooped in and said, hey, we've got $110 million. You're not going to make that in the theaters. How about we just buy it off you and we'll show it? And I do think that if the pandemic had not happened and this was simply another very wide release animated movie, between word of mouth and great reviews, this probably would have been another $500 million animated hit worldwide. This is just such a good movie.
The reason that we definitely made sure we had it to watch was because of, I think, social media and people telling us, hey, this is a good movie.
Yeah, it was one of your friends, actually, who I think gave us the heads up of how amazing it was.
So neither one of us are big gamers. Neither have we bought a PlayStation recently. Mm-hmm. But apparently the PAL building is shaped like the Sony PS5.
Oh,
and I think we kind of caught that, but it just didn't sink in.
I caught that, but I didn't. I was like, oh, that's kind of like the PS5. But it never even dawned on me that it was a deliberate choice, just an animated architecture similarity. But yeah, now that you say it, it's like, oh yeah, Sony would make the building look like their hit game console that they're selling, that there's, I believe, sold out nearly everywhere in America right now because they're so intensely popular.
And you did get who played the neighbors, right? John Legend and Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, okay. Who are a couple themselves. Yes. Yeah. Speaking of voice actors, I do think we should give a quick mention to Doug the Pug, who played Monchi, the Mitchell family dog, because I think Doug the Pug managed to capture a very humorous dog very well. I'm sure they just had the mic going to capture some of his crazy noises, and he appropriately filled the role as a good pug would. So, way to go, Doug the Pug.
If you're looking for a movie that's just a fun family movie to watch with your kids or just, even adults, it is a fun movie. And I know that you were surprised by something that came out towards the end, clarified, regarding the daughter.
I like the fact that, like I said, they drew three-dimensional characters, and they don't harp on it. It's just, these are who these characters are, and then we do the plot. So if some character's left-handed and they say, hey, I'm left-handed, it's not like this movie suddenly becomes, and now, from now on, we're going to refer to Jim the Lefty. It's not like that. It's just another characteristic that makes them a little deeper. Oh, they're left-handed. And then they move on. I thought that was really well done. It made every person an individual person without taking a single characteristic and saying, look, we're making this character whatever, ethnic or what have you, just to show how diverse we are. It wasn't like that at all, and I thought it was really well done.
This is cute on the trivia on IMDb. None of the glasses have any lenses. At least of the that are worn by the family. There's no reflection.
Right.
I'm sure that saved quite a bit of animation time.
And money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it certainly wasn't something that took me out of the shots or anything, because I didn't even notice until you mentioned it.
And I love the fact that that there's a toaster.
Of course, you got to have a toaster.
I love that there is a toaster that, has an agenda.
That's right.
I love my toasters having an agenda.
That's right.
Would you like some toast? I know what will fix your problem. How about some toast?
little hint of Red Dwarf coming into this. That was probably missed by the majority of people, but well, thank you, Golden.
Oh, you're welcome.
And that's it for this episode. You can find the show notes at theomegabeam.com/126. If you liked this episode, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. It's those reviews that help people who like this stuff find our podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions, please drop us a line at info@theomegabeam.com. Be good to yourselves and each other, and we'll catch you next time.
The Omega Beam. Full stop.